and welcome to my review of one of my most anticipated films of the year. I imagine most people have been looking forward to it to see the story of Neil Armstrong on the big screen, but I've been excited for it because it's a new Damien Chazelle movie. Now, I consider him to be my personal favourite director, even though pre-First Man he'd only made 2 films and another I haven't seen yet. But Whiplash is one of my favourite movies of all time, and La La Land was the watershed moment when I went from having interest for watching films to it being an art form I loved just as much as video games, and that's been apparent this year as I've reviewed things that I never have gone to see on the big screen a couple of years ago. So First Man already had me in the cinema from its director alone, even though this looked like a big departure from his earlier masterpieces, and the trailers, while good, sold the film as this big intense thing where most of us going into the movie know that they make it to the moon. Spoiler alert. Nevertheless, I took my seat excited to see what else Chazelle had to offer, and as the opening unfolded, my mouth was agape and I was grasping my fists tightly due to the intensity. First Man captures the feeling of space travel in an incredibly visceral, claustrophobic way that left me enthralled during those sequences, with the tension coming from the feeling that you're on the ship with Neil and the other astronauts. It also made me feel like I was actually in space like no other film has achieved before, leaving me holding my breath during the flight scenes, and once we get to the moon, hypnotized as if I was there along with them. So the space stuff alone is worth the price of admission, but this film has more to offer than that. This is mostly about Neil Armstrong's personal journey and how that affects his family, which for the most part works thanks to some very strong performances. Ryan Gosling is superbly subtle, and the portrayal of Armstrong's alienated figure leads to some interesting interactions, and his cold personality reflects that of the moon well. Claire Foy is also really good, but her character doesn't leave too much of an impact, and neither do a lot of the other cast. And I think that ties into one of my biggest issues with the film. I was engaged, but never invested. We have a battle between these incredible space sequences and the turmoil this caused for the people involved. Neil's journey is perfect for Damien Chazelle, as similar themes of obsession and the isolation this causes was explored to riveting effect in Whiplash. But this is the first film of Chazelle's not to be written by him, and it does show. Certain aspects feel a little glossed over, and the ending didn't feel as fulfilling as it should have been. But with that said, the actors carry it along fine, the period is reflected well, there's some good scenes and I was never bored. But the way the characters were written, and not just Armstrong, allowed me to observe their actions, but never feel them. I also wasn't a fan of some of the cinematography. It's very handheld and close up, like if it were a documentary, which worked amazingly in the shuttles, but it's used a lot on Earth for conversations as well, and it got a bit grating after a while. There are some very nice wide shots though, and I liked the use of first person in some cases. So I have some issues with this film, and it's easily my least favourite Damien Chazelle movie, that's not saying much considering the rest of his filmography, and there is some genuinely fantastic stuff in there. I really liked it, and I'd highly recommend you watch it on the big screen as it is a great cinematic spectacle. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe to all that good stuff, and if you're not too bothered by the controversy people have been flagging up, then definitely head down to the cinema to immerse yourself in some phenomenal space exploration, and I'll see you all next time to discuss my next trip to the movies. Goodbye!